Hi there, I'm Andy Robertson, and this is Family Gamer TV. Welcome back to Family Gamer TV. This week I'm back with Tim to find out what he's been playing. Now I hear you've been playing the uDraw game. Mm-hmm. Now you used to use a graphics tablet.
I did.
As part of your job.
I'm sure I've got one up in the loft somewhere, a really old one, retro,
Yeah, so uDraw is this peripheral for the Wii, sort of big white block, and you pop your Wiimote in it, and it comes with a pen, and it means you can do drawing, and there's games, and there's a graphics package that comes with it. But how did it, as someone who's used the real thing, how did that compare?
Well, it took a bit of getting used to, because we'd been playing Depict, which is an app, and it's particularly on the iPad, it's a game that you can very easily just touch, and the action happens just as you touch the screen.
Mm-hmm. So it's just your finger.
Exactly. The downside of Depict, of course, is it's just one game, whereas with the tablet you've got potentially multiple games. Mm-hmm. But with the tablet you've got to touch the pen onto the pad and push it down. You've got to remember to do that. So when you first go to it, we were all like touching it and thinking, oh, it's not working. And then you click it and it goes down. But there's a couple of buttons on the pen as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's quite a bit. I think they're probably thinking of future games to come with it. They wanted to give it as much options as possible.
Our kids found a similar thing. After a while, they did get sort of used to just the fact they needed to press a bit harder with uDraw. I quite liked it because it's quite self-contained. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need batteries of its own. It just uses the Wiimote, and it's all quite simple. It's quite robust. It feels a little bit Fisher-Pricey because it's quite robust. Yes. I think that's not a bad thing.
Chunky.
Yeah, chunky.
But it's got... You can actually...
when I get annoyed with it, and it has been thrown a few times actually, and it survived that.
No, you can't do that. It says it on the instructions not
you see, if you're playing Depict, your iPad... What does it say what you see?
Yeah.
Game.
WYSIWYG.
If you threw that, you wouldn't be so happy, but...
No.
They're about to bring out new versions of uDraw, and maybe this will solve some of the issues there for the PlayStation 3 and for the 360. Okay. So that will sort of up the resolution, and obviously they have an opportunity to refresh the hardware as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of moves forward, and we'll be looking at those. But the game that obviously you can have lots of games on them, but the game that we really liked was Pictionary. Did you guys get around to try that?
Yeah, that was really good actually.
Yeah.
I think you were able to jump in and very quickly get the feel for it with the drawing.
And some of the nice things in Pictionary is that it does some clever things like, obviously in the actual game of Pictionary you're just drawing on a piece of paper, but on the uDraw version it will take that paper you're drawing on, it will slowly rotate it. So you get to that level. Yeah, so you're trying to draw a house, but the whole sort of thing you're drawing on is moving on the screen.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, so I thought that was quite good. And there's a DS version of Pictionary as well. But yeah, that's probably a story for another day.
Great.
So moving on to talk about some new games that I've been playing. One I've really been enjoying, was looking forward to, was Super Mario 3D Land. Right. Did you play Super Mario Land? Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, a while back.
What did you play it on?
DS.
Yeah.
Was it Sam? Yes, I think it was a DS.
So that's what new Super Mario Brothers.
That sounds right.
Yep. So this is the 3DS version that I've been playing.
Is it 3D? No, 3DS. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it's 3D. No glasses still. Okay. Yeah, it still works. Hasn't stopped working yet. But the thing that really fits this is it's taken the 3D Mario game that they first launched with Mario 64. Okay. But you've got the depth now. So I always found it difficult to judge. As soon as they switch from 2D to 3D, it's like, well, how do I know how far that jump is from this block? But in 3D, suddenly that is gone. So I'm back to my sort of very simple, I can just enjoy the platforming because I can tell those depths. And they use that perspective quite well. Did you play Mario Galaxy? Did you try that on the Wii?
Possibly at a friend's house.
So that was really well received, and that was very imaginative, and it offered these different worlds that you'd visit, and you'd have platforming in each world, and you can see how the success of that has influenced Super Mario 3D Land, because it's got that sort of creativity. But it's great to have it on the 3DS because you can take it with you. So I'm really enjoying that. It's a good one.
I'll borrow that.
Yeah, well, I guess you've borrowed it 3DS, but you can.
Oh, okay.
I could be persuaded.
Yeah, right, cool.
So another game I've been playing is GoldenEye. Did you play GoldenEye back in the day?
I had GoldenEye on a little grey cartridge.
Yep.
What was that then?
N64?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a shooting
game. Are you
game.
going to remember an N64?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, cool.
Well, that's the thing on the Wii is that they sort of update these games. They re-release them on the Virtual Console, so you could probably play GoldenEye as a download game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But what they've done, I mean, what they did on the Wii was to release GoldenEye using all the Wii controls as like an updated version, which went down pretty well. And off the back of that, they've now released a version for the 360 and the PlayStation 3, which are more high def. Better visuals, so you've got all the controls from the Wii with a joypad, and that sort of revisited experience, but on the 360. So I've been really enjoying that. I did play the Wii one quite a lot, but there's something about just having those better graphics that I've just been enjoying. And
Show me.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, good. I'll borrow
and there's something about that just has taken me back to what it felt like to sit down with a bunch of mates around GoldenEye. It's that 4-player split screen stuff. So. That's another game, and we will play it.
Great. Look forward to that.
Back on the Wii, I've been playing Zelda, but Zelda Skyward Sword, which is the new game.
Cool.
When the Wii was first launched, it came out with Twilight Princess, which I bought at launch, and it was very good. And what's unusual is that they've released a second Zelda game on the same console. Did you play Zelda back in the day or recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, ages ago.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was still is just a little bit obsessed with Zelda.
Oh, Darren.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. He's played all of them, and he's been waiting and asking me, when's this next one coming out?
He lives and breathes it.
It
was great fun to play the game with him because he just knows it back to front.
And have you played through much yourself? Have you got a sense of what it's like?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Well, it just takes quite a lot of time to play through them. So there's not many Zelda games I finished because you're looking at 20, 30 hours of going through these dungeons. And it's really nicely laid out, though. So you have usually quite a compelling overworld, like an adventure sort of space to roam about in. And then every so often you meet these dungeon spaces. And those are much more like puzzles, and you have to work through the dungeon. And usually, by the end of it, you've got an extra weapon or there's something which you can then take on to the next stage.
Does it look good?
Yeah, it does. And
it always looked good on the early ones as well. It does. Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about they released Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. Actually, that's interesting because when you go back to those earlier ones, sometimes your memory and what the reality of what they're like doesn't quite stack up. And they did a lot to bring it up to the 3DS.
Actually, I think if I probably again now having had a few consoles.
Yeah, but the game's the same. It's just as much fun, and just because the graphics aren't super stunning, it really doesn't matter. You soon forget about what the graphics are like. But the interesting thing about Skyward Sword, which is this latest Zelda on the Wii, is that it uses the Wiimote properly. So when they first released Zelda on the Wii with Twilight Princess, it was more sort of flicking to do your sword motions, and you're just waggling it really rather than pressing a button. Whereas now you've got the Motion Plus block on the Wiimote, and it plugs into the bottom, so it's much more one-to-one. So when you're having the fights, you are doing the proper motions.
Cool.
And again, with targeting, when you're doing your bow or lasso or all those sorts of things.
So it's more difficult?
Well, it probably is because it's more exacting about what you need to do. But Zelda games are always difficult. So anyway, that's a really good game. And perhaps we should get you trying it out.
Yeah.
That's all we've got time for this week in Family Gamer TV, but we'll be back with more episodes and more games soon.